Welcome down to my 9-foot homemade oak bar. Pour yourself a cold one. You are listening to Bucs in the Basement. My name's Chris, and Craig here is the biggest Pirates fan you'll ever meet. Let's talk Pirates baseball now. Welcome to Bucs in the Basement.
Now I see the changes in this town. They change, they say one thing, but then the next day it's different. They change, but they don't know what they want. All they do is change. Going left, going right, travel day, travel night. That's where we'll go. No excuses, no goodbyes, no one cries, no one lies. We'll never know.
Last night, after the Pirates won, I put out a tweet. I know it's X and it's not tweets anymore, but I put out a tweet with like 3 bullet points, and the last of those bullet points was, enjoy these games. Baseball is supposed to be fun. Baseball is a kid's game. And I figured that we would have a very fun show today. I am bringing in, for the first time, from OneBurgh. It is the Pittsburgh's, #1 social media site. He is the Yinzer in chief. That is a great title. We usually have these conversations at a baseball field, at the kids' games, at our son's baseball games. Brian Carothers, he is a comic. He is a writer. He was on B94. He is an attendee of the Cueto game. I was not. I wish I was. Brian, how you doing today, brother?
Craig, whoa, you just changed everything. The Bucko in the Basement guru was not at the Cueto game?
Nah, man, to tell you the truth, I had 2 kids, one of them sick in the bedroom, and I couldn't make it away. I did have a way to go to the game. Somebody had got me a ticket.
Yeah.
But no, man, I watched it in my living room, pacing back and forth, probably pounding way too many icy lights, and didn't sit down the entire time. But yeah, man, I was not there. So I was not one of the...
All right.
The 2.5 million people that claim to be there.
Yeah.
Not one of the 30-some thousand like yourself that were actually there.
Well, it's funny. Cueto almost led to a divorce for me and my wife, Marcy. We went to Philadelphia to see, I don't know who we went to see, but it was a getaway weekend, a romantic weekend. And we booked a hotel in Center City. And so we're sitting there, we're having a drink, and there's no kids with us. And what's the common thing from wives to husbands? You don't talk to me. You don't pay attention. I'm like, oh, no, this is great. This is the weekend we always wanted. So we're sitting in the lobby, and the San Francisco Giants were in town to play the Phillies. Now, we were not going to that game, but the Giants were staying at that hotel. And so as Marcy, my wife's telling me some story, I look over her shoulder and go, oh, my God, Johnny Cueto is in the lobby right now. And she's talking, and I'm looking over her shoulder. I go, I don't want to interrupt, but Johnny Cueto is right over your shoulder right now. And she's like, oh, okay, that's cool. She's like, so anyway, my mom told me this. And like, she knows I'm not listening to this story. All I'm doing is staring at Cueto and those braids. And I was like, do you mind if I just like walk by and give him like a what's up? Or I didn't, Craig. I will report that I'm still married. I didn't do the walk over to Cueto, but we were on the tightrope there with no net.
Oh man, that is a great story. And that's something that I would do. Is my wife would be like, she's like, if there's a Pirates game on and we go out to eat, she's just basically like, I know that you're going to be watching it, so I'm just going to let you face it, and I'm just going to pretend like we're having a conversation, and you just kind of fill in where you need to.
Yes.
But yeah, man, it's definitely crazy. But the one crazy thing about the Pirates here that we've kind of been talking about is that, I mean, man, there's national attention here. Like, you turn on MLB Network. I was watching it before we're recording right now, just to let everybody know. We're recording here on Tuesday afternoon. It's Skeens Day. And that is like, man, like one of the top stories is that, like, the Pirates beat the Cardinals last night, a half a game out of the playoffs. Paul Skeens is pitching. Mitch Keller threw another gem. You see the recaps, and they're talking about, they're even calling him Nicky G, with his, game-winning hit last night. I mean, this is not something that Pirates fans are used to, like, whatsoever.
It is so much fun, and I know you said you made that tweet or X or whatever it's called. I don't even know. I don't even go on there, but it is fun, man. And so, like, Pittsburgh's a hard town to just do anything in, right? So obviously, Steelers reign supreme. Not for me personally, but everything is Steelers, and somehow the Penguins have been fan favorites over the years. I get it, and the Pirates are always, Bob Nutting and all this stuff. But like, I get it. It's a tough town to be a Pirates fan in, and everything is so negative about the Pirates. But the truth is, there's nothing negative to feel right now about the Pirates, and that's okay. Like, I feel like I need to meet a psychiatrist to tell me this, but I could be your psychiatrist to the people listening. It's okay to enjoy this and have fun with it. And do we spend enough money? No. Do we have a power hitter? No. Do we know where Skeens is going to go? Will it be a Dodger, be a Yankee, all that? No, but for this moment, it's the only sport that doesn't get the free pass to enjoy it, and I want to absolve everyone. Enjoy this moment.
Yeah, definitely. And I before we jumped on here, I was telling you, I mean, I enjoyed the game on Saturday night. I went to the Wiz Khalifa bobblehead night, Yinzer Palooza, and yes, half of the place was filled with Philly fans, but that's the way it's always been. But it was fun because, I mean, that place was packed. It was more packed than opening day, which I was at. It was more packed than Skeen's Major League debut, which I believe both of us were at.
Yes.
And it was just kind of electric. And there was a back and forth between fans. And just for that moment, like, we were standing toe to toe with the best team in Major League Baseball, and we took a series from them. And to me, that type of stuff is just, it's so cool. And then they'll come back and say, oh, well, the Pirates won last night, but there was only 19,000 fans there. I'm like, man, guess what? I can tell that a lot of you people were never at Three River Stadium during its last year when you could buy a ticket and sit anywhere, because I believe I went to, I think it was against the Milwaukee Brewers on my birthday in June with my buddies, and they sold 3,300 tickets for that game. I guarantee you there were only 1,800 people in that entire giant stadium. So you haven't been to
500 of them were Giant Eagle employees that got them for free.
Yeah, where you had the Giant Eagle Advantage card and you'd show that and you'd get like half off your ticket. Yes. I mean, it shows that people don't, appreciate what's going on here. And I believe you went to the game last night, didn't you?
I did. And you know what? It wasn't sold out. It wasn't Saturday night, but there was still a good crowd for a Monday. It rained. It was kind of chilly, but man, this is like the beginnings of playoff baseball. For people who say it doesn't belong here, we've had a nice start to the second half, and it was an electric atmosphere. When you got into those later innings with the Cardinals, division rival, it all made sense, man. And so, I don't know. I think people were slow to come around, but my biggest fear, Craig, was that, with all Skeen's mania, the phenom, everything there is exciting with Livy Dunn and the mustache, and he's on the boat, and he's a Pittsburgh. I love all of it, and of course he's like Roger Clemens and Nolan Ryan had a baby, so it's great, and he's ours for now, and I love that. But I thought, wow, coming out of the All-Star break, we have 3 games against the Phillies, the toughest team in baseball. I don't know if they're the best. I mean, statistically the best team, but maybe arguably the toughest team to play. That they're so stacked, and then to go right into the Cardinals. Historically, now we're going to go back negative again, so don't let me go back too far. But historically, this is when the wheels fall off. We start the second half 1-6 in these series. Now, wow, we took that series from the Phillies amazingly, which was great, and now here we go. Maybe we can take the series from the Cardinals tonight with Skeens, who is an ace for us and an ace for the National League, and might be Cy Young. Who knows? That's kind of crazy. And Rookie of the Year all in once. Who knows? But, man, we're doing everything right, and I think it's okay to enjoy it.
Absolutely. And that's where it's like, I mean, do I get upset and do I live and die with every pitch at this point in time. Of course I do. That's what fans do. And it definitely seems like, I mean, everybody has their opinion, and I'm never going to tell people how to fan. But like you said, we're waiting for that, kind of inevitable shoe to drop at some point in time. You have, people out there saying, this is just a part of, Bob Nutting's latest con to kind of
Come on.
keep the team in the race or whatever. And, nothing's really going to happen. And of course, I mean, we're sitting here right now a week away from, the trade deadline. And I'm thinking back to even like the people that you can tell that didn't experience like 2011. 2000 and 2012 when pretty much we were going really well, and then like you're saying that those wheels fell off. And even in 2013, if you would have told me at that point in time that take us back to that trade deadline and saying, okay, we added Marlon Byrd, that I would have been like, that I would have been like really super excited about that type of move. I mean, everybody's looking for them to make.
Marlon Byrd at the time, Marlon Byrd at the time, man. But that was a straight like fire starter for us, man. When he came over, he changed everything.
He did, and he wasn't like probably like everybody's number one target. I mean, looking back, I look back on Twitter and stuff, and everybody was looking for like a bigger splash play and not a rental player and all this kind of stuff. And now everything everybody remembers about Marlon Byrd is, him and Russell Martin in the Cueto game and what he did for our team and how well he hit once he came here.
But and don't forget, honestly, Justin Morneau was on part of that buying frenzy we were on as well. Dude, my friends and I were tracking Morneau's plane coming from where was he in Minnesota to Pittsburgh Airport. They had the camera on him. Like, this is like Spielberg-esque, and maybe it's gonna repeat itself. And Skeens is a big driver in this, man. I mean, to have who people consider the best in the game, it's awesome. I mean, and where do you think it's going to stop? I mean, do you foresee Skeens going on some skid where he loses 6 in a row and he can't find his stuff? I don't.
No, I don't really see that happen at all, Brian. And the biggest thing for me, and it's always going to be the thing that's in the back of my mind, is that innings limit. Is that, he pitched 130 innings, in college and, minimal pro time last year in the minors. I know that they're managing them right now, and I feel like that's where a lot of people are just going to get frustrated because, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen. The people that are going to be watching this video, it's going to be before the game. The audio comes out after the game. I mean, we can look like morons, after
that's right.
He
could have his head ripped off. He could be dead right now for all we know, right? Line drive to the face.
But the other part
is, Will, is when people will turn on it. If that does happen, that's more your expertise than mine. I just feel like I sit there like a big fat fan eating a Berg bacon sundae and cheering for Rowdy. But that innings limitation, if we Strasburg it and we get to the playoffs and Skeens has been shut down for the year, I think people might burn the city down.
Oh yeah, 115 Federal. I mean, you might as well like put like chain link fence with the razor wire around it because I mean it will not be standing. But I do think that it is going to be frustrating to a degree. Like if he goes out tonight and say only goes 6 innings. Because they're trying to do that innings limit thing, and then maybe the bullpen blows it. I mean, that's where all of these strays keep on coming in from, 93.7 The Fan or, just different stuff like that, because, I mean, they really haven't had this type of player that you've had to manage like this pretty much like ever. I mean, this isn't something that, you have a guy who a year ago was drafted just a year ago. I mean, so usually you'd have these guys build up throughout the minors and you could get them and it would be like, okay, maybe we can start to go towards 200 innings in their first pro season. And it's like, no, this guy but I also think I look at him and I'm like, he's just kind of built different too. I mean, you look at his size, you look how effortlessly he throws it. So I don't know what direction that's going to go, but that's where I know it starts to creep into the back of like every Pirates fan's heads is like you said, that where's that shoe going to drop? Where is this going to end? You mentioned Rowdy Tellez. It's like he's on after having the worst first 2 months of the season. He's having the best, second 2 months of the season.
They were chanting his name last night. I'm sitting there chanting Rowdy. I was like, didn't we just boo him like when we were here a month and a half ago? Yes. It's turns, but make no mistake. If we shut down Skeens while we are still in the hunt, I just don't know where it goes from here. And I'm still going to be there on opening day next year, and I get it. But there has to be a moment, I think, when you look at the public perception of it, and that whether you move them to the bullpen, whether you start severely cutting those things, or you go for it, dude, Skeens, if we get to where we want to be, if Skeens doesn't start that wild card game or that division playoff game, it doesn't matter if we win the World Series. It's just another Bob Nutting pulls the rug out on you, which isn't fair, but that's, court of public opinion.
Are you a fan of the Pittsburgh Pirates and supporting small businesses? If so, Bucs in the Basement has you covered. Introducing the Bucs in the Basement Vouch Store with products from places like Split Rock Coffee, coffee with a purpose, established, owned, and operated by disabled veterans, sworn to protect America, or Camp Craft Cocktails, more than cocktails. It's a mission to build longer tables where everyone is welcome. We try and vouch for these products. Bucs in the Basement, proudly brought to you by Vouch. Visit our Vouch store at bucsinthebasement.com or simply click on the link in the show notes. The court of public opinion is probably never going to be favorable towards Bob Nutting, and if it is, it will last for the shortest periods of time. I mean, even in I believe it was 2013, Andrew McCutchen MVP season, he was the executive of the year. They were the organization of the year. Right. And then by 2016, he is, the devil again.
Right.
But for me, I mean, the other piece of this that I kind of look at is that, what is, kind of going for it? I mean, I'm a little bit of a poker player. I'm not a very good poker player, and everybody's talking about, going all in or pushing some chips in. Sure. And I think in some ways they already kind of have. I mean, they started Jared Jones on the opening day roster. They traded for Joey Bart as opposed to, having some third string, fourth string, fifth string catcher come up. When Grandal was hurt. They brought Skeens up before that magical Super 2 date where they're pretty much, at risk for losing a year of service time, even if he wouldn't win, the Rookie of the Year or Cy Young or whatever it would be. So they've done that kind of stuff already. So I wonder is just what are we looking for as Pirates fans? What are you looking for that big splash trade at this moment? Or are you just looking for just them to kind of stay the course?
Well, again, I'm a Berg Bacon Sunday eating guy who just watches the games. So everyone's wanting that splash, right? We want Aaron Judge to be in the black and gold in a week from now and the best trade ever, right? But that's not going to happen. I think we're competitive. I think we're missing a power hitter, of course. Going to the game last night, Nick Gonzalez is not a cleanup hitter, but he is. So we for the risks that you said we took, a lot have paid off. But Tellez has not, and Michael A. Taylor has not. Both those guys hit significant amount more home runs last year in those cities that they're at. I think Taylor was at 30, and so was Tellez. And so maybe they had magical years, but that's been a little bit of a breakdown. So like we said, I think I'd be foolish to say I think if we don't get Aaron Judge or Pete Alonso, Bob Pompiani wants about Pete Alonso. I don't know if that's really going to happen, but maybe just a bat, a Marlon Byrd type thing where you would just go, well, look, the numbers show that this guy's Moneyball. He can come in and add a pop that we don't have. I like it. And I do think we do have some low hanging fruit that we can dangle. In my opinion, some of them are unpopular, but here's the trade talk that I would put up if I was the Pirates right now. Obviously, every team would take Chapman for $10 million. Can we get something from a true World Series contender that wants Chapman just for his experience? He won the World Series last year. The wheels have not fallen off Chapman. I think Bednar is somebody that we could see if anyone was interested in to see this, to put it out there. And this one's very unpopular. I know with you, Craig, you're going to hate this and you're going to turn the cameras off. I think Brian Hayes is someone that I would put out there to say, anybody interested in this guy, Golden Glove, can't hit a fly with a tennis racket, but he's got that baseball DNA. He's got something we could assume. So I think that we have some people that we could move that would save face with popularity, except Bednar, and could bring in some serious talent that would be it. So we need a hitter, probably two, and I think that we might actually be talking about this in September.
Yeah, and I will not turn you off on the Brian Hayes thing. Brian Hayes has been a thorn in my side at times, just because when he came up, I told people, don't look for that magic from him that you got in the last, month of 2020, because that's not the type of hitter he was.
Right.
Throughout his entire career in the minors. Then you had injuries, you had struggles. And then, of course, last year, after a month off, after resting his back for an entire month, he had, 2 good months. Did I expect him to be this bad this season? No, I don't think anybody did. I thought that everybody at least thought that he would have like a league average bat or slightly below league average. And at this point in time, I believe we have like 3 home runs. There was some ridiculous statistic that he only has like 2 RBIs in like the last month or something. I'm like,
right.
That type of stuff, that just really can't happen. And even if you play elite level defense, when you're supposed to be one of those cornerstone players, it's supposed to be Brian Hayes, it's supposed to be Brian Reynolds,
right.
Mitch Keller, the guys that you have signed to those extensions.
Yeah.
But I kind of also go back to, some of the extensions that didn't work out in the early 2010s. The Gregory Polanco extension didn't work out, and they still, were able to do well.
Well, Gregory was, he was the guy who eliminated every person in this organization. Clint Hurdle, Neil Huntington, they went all in on Polanco. We got rid of McCutcheon. We got rid of Marte. We got rid of Corey Dickerson. We got rid of Austin Meadows. All because Polanco was the guy that convinced everybody that he could do it. And it turned out after we got rid of everybody, he couldn't do it. So
he couldn't do it.
That was a huge miss.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about Jose Tabata that a lot of people don't remember. Neck lips. That we had extended. Yeah, we gave him that extension. So not all of these are going to work out. And I think that
we gave Josh Harrison. Jay Hay is wealthy because of us. And after he got paid, he did nothing. So these are tough situations. These are not easy decisions.
Yeah, and go back and look at some of the payrolls from the Pirates after Josh Harrison left. We were still paying Josh Harrison money. It was like $3 to $5 million a year to play for a different team. So there's those types of things that have happened. So this may be one of those misses. I just don't think that we were ever prepared for it to be this big of a miss. We didn't know where his bat was going to be, but everybody kept on saying if he was just a league average bat, if he hit like 10 home runs a year and say batted 250, had like a 700 OPS and just played good defense, it would be worth it. But right now he's not even doing that.
No. And look, the Brian, remember Jordy Mercer, of course, right? That was what you were describing. Mercer never got under 200 on his batting average. Mercer was a great defensive. He's no Hayes, but I think you need a mix of a little bit. Look at Sawinski, right? I mean, this experiment has to be over soon. He had so much potential. Now he's batting 170. He can't find a hit to save his life consistently, and he's a decent outfielder. He can be easily replaced if we make a couple moves. Key Bryan, I don't know, man. Triolo came in last year with a lot of momentum. And I thought people forgot who Key Brian Hayes was. Most people have forgotten that we paid him all that money.
Yeah, I mean, especially after you pay Reynolds and then you pay Keller. I mean, some of those contracts are, kind of forgotten here a little bit. But I told everybody we were going to have fun today. So, and I
I am
lined this
having
up.
fun.
Yeah, I lined this up for you before we hopped on here, is because I call you Mr. OneBurgh when we're walking around the Moon Little League fields and everything. So I thought it would be kind of fun to
You're
do.
the only one. Everyone looks at you and goes, "What are you talking about?"
What are you talking about? Nobody knows the biggest social media site, in Pittsburgh. But I was going to ask you to do what I am calling the OneBurgh one-word answers, and it's going to be questions here. Going to be a little bit of a lightning round to kind of see where you stand on this kind of stuff.
Wow. Okay.
So do the Pirates make a trade before the deadline?
Yes.
Do they?
One word? You want one-word answers?
One-word answer.
Okay,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do they buy, sell, or both?
Both.
The biggest disappointment on the team thus far?
Key Brian Hayes. That was
biggest,
2 words, but that was one person.
Yeah. Biggest surprise on the team?
Gonzalez.
Okay. Who would you start in a win or go home game?
Come on, man. Like you're embarrassing me. That lefty Gonzalez that we threw on Sunday got blown out. No, what was the guy who got DFA'd? He was here for his average, his ERA was like 90. What was that guy's name? He's gone now.
Oh, God.
I'd go with him.
You go with him? Okay.
Just because I won't say, I know who you want me to say. I will not say it.
Oh, I was thinking you were going to say Keller. I mean, because that's who I would say. But I mean, that's just me.
Wait, no, you wouldn't put Skeens on the mound, win or go home?
I could always bring Skeens back in, but I would start the game with Keller. Honestly, I would.
And let me say as a quick side note to this game, and we'll get back to the one-word answers. I never understood the magic of Keller, and I am a fan, and I root for him. When that money came in, I was like, man, we're really rewarding a guy who's had now an all-star season, of course, but like a half season, like a Josh Bell, like one half was magic and one half was okay. This year, man, wow, maybe he's so rich he doesn't have to worry about it, so the pressure's off, but he has had a phenomenal season.
Yeah, he's absolutely been great. So here's the other part.
He should have been in the All-Star game.
He should have been in over Hunter Green.
The Reds. What's the manager for the Reds? He brought Green in there.
David Bell.
Screwed.
Yeah,
forget Bell.
Yeah, and here's the next one.
Does David Bell suck? Yes.
Yes.
That's a freebie.
Yeah. Who would you want up at the plate?
Which, by the way, you kind of look like Bell without the beard. If you shaved, and I've never seen you without the beard, you kind of look like you could be a relative of Bell.
Well, man, here's the thing is I've been married to my wife for 10 years coming up in October, and she has never seen me without a beard. So I don't know if you will ever see me without one either, man. So we'll see.
I wouldn't risk it. All right. Anyway, back to you.
Okay. Who would you want up at the plate with the game on the line?
Andrew McCutchen.
Okay. Above or below 500 to end the season?
Above.
Make or miss the playoffs?
Only because I'm a rabid fan, I'll say make. I don't go into a season with a loser mentality. Make. And look, we have stats to back that up right now, Craig. I'm getting excited. We're in the hunt right now for not just a wild card, but we've had success against the Brewers. We've had success against the Cardinals. This is normally when we fall apart. We can't beat these teams. We're in it. So why would we not say we won't make it? We're in the hunt. So all positive vibes.
Okay.
Have you figured out it? Have you figured out that I can't do a one-word answer yet?
Brian, come on, man. Like I said, you were a radio personality. You're a comedian. You're a writer. I've known you for a couple years now, man. I've coached a team with you. There is no like one word answer here. Like or dislike the job Shelton has done as manager.
Like.
Okay. Biggest or best acquisition by Charrington?
Schemes. I mean, how can it not be schemes? Right? I mean, he made the decision that LSU center fielder was out there, and everyone said the logical thing is don't blow this guy. You know, this guy's going to blow his arm out. He doesn't have it. There's no center fielder that takes the field that can bring this kind of electricity and wins to a team like Skeens has. So, I mean, Skeens is going to be tied with Charrington forever.
Okay. Go to food at the ballpark.
Okay, now this is a very difficult question, Craig, because I've tried them all, but I haven't had a Renegade dog. I talk about Renegade dogs on OneBurgh like every day, but I did have the Berg Bacon Sundae last night.
How was that?
Terrible. It's
well,
the T. Brian Hayes of ice cream treats.
I will say the one thing is, man, I did have the Renegade dog. And my only thing is that I know it's not a Pittsburgh thing, but I am not a huge fan of pot roast.
Okay.
My mom was a school nurse for God knows how many years. So she would put a pot roast on before she would go to work, and it would be in the slow cooker all day. If you would have made that into like, I don't know, just like some sort of like barbecue,
yes,
but that would be more of a St. Louis thing. I like the pierogies. I like the pickles. I'm a huge fan of hot dogs. So it actually wasn't too bad. I'm just not a big fan of pot roast.
I get it, man. I think we're probably like the same. We're probably like latchkey kids of like the late 80s and early 90s. My parents do the same thing, and that smell always grosses me out, the smell of a roast in the crock pot. But to answer your question, the Berg Bacon Sundae is not worth $15, but with a one-word answer, it's a go-to, baby. Peanuts.
Nice. I would go seeds. I'm like definitely a seed guy. But
wow. Okay.
And here's the last two questions for you. Okay. Favorite all-time pirate?
Oh God. Oh no, Craig. Why? McCutcheon.
Okay. Favorite current pirate?
See, I see what you did there. You trapped me.
I did a little bit. Everybody, I'll give mine first. Everybody knows that my favorite all-time pirate is Mike LaValliere. And that my favorite current pirate is Connor Joe. I always like the not star. It's like kind of like back when we were in high school, Brian, when like a band would become popular, I would be the guy that would probably stop listening to the band because they became popular.
I like that about you.
Yeah. So like, yeah, once I don't know who it was. I think I gave an example one time. Once Better Than Ezra became big, I stopped listening to Better Than Ezra.
Yeah.
But so, Brian, favorite current pirate?
Okay, I have a couple. But I'll put them in the category for you. My current favorite pirate is O'Neill Cruz because I love Limitless Potential. My current favorite pirate that I'm mesmerized by is Aroldis Chapman. I cannot not watch this guy for every reason that you could give or I could give. And then overall, if it was one guy, like if we had the Olympics and who would come out with the pirate flag, like they bring out the United States flag, I'm sorry, man. I still have to go with McCutcheon. How do we not appreciate what he's done? And he's here and he's back, and he still matters.
Yeah, man. I can't. Can
you imagine, Craig? Imagine. Close your eyes tonight before bed and think, what if we do make the playoffs like you talk about, even a blackout, a blackout part 10 or whatever it would be. Imagine the magical moment to see the back and forth of young Andrew McCutcheon coming out and old Andrew McCutcheon coming out. This guy's destined for a statue outside of PNC Park. He just needs a championship.
Yeah, he needs that championship. He definitely has the city behind him. Has all of my kids behind him, especially my daughter. But
Oh, of course.
man, this was a great conversation. And as everybody knows, we are around 30 minutes of Bucs, but they know that I could talk Pirates for probably, I don't know, all day if anybody would let me. Yeah, until that would happen. But Brian, this has been great. For anybody that doesn't, go on to Facebook, which I know Facebook is usually a world of, not such great things, but the one good thing on there is OneBurgh.
Wow.
You guys are doing a lot of great stuff out there. You have the Parkway, which is the newsletter that you put out. I know that your partner in crime has the Three Rivers podcast. You guys have endless memes and comments and just engaging Pittsburgh on all levels, not just sports.
Thank you, Craig. And yeah, I appreciate it. And anytime you want me to come back, I feel like this is going to be my last appearance, but I will wait patiently for another invite. I'd love to come on to the playoff special.
Yeah, once the playoff special hits, man, you know what?
You got my number.
I'll make it.
Thank you, Craig.
Oh, you're welcome, man. This has been great.
Now I see the changes in this town. They change, they say one thing, but then the next day it's different. They change, but
Craig, what song is this?
This is by a band called Wine and Spirits.
Yeah.
I'll send you the link.
I love it.